In this module, we are going to build this story vote application. A user can vote for the story. It is not working. I'll show you how to implement in Vue. So this is our basic layout. If you refresh that, it will give you a new random image. I'm using this website for product images. Where Lorem Flickr, yeah. I'm using this website for fetching the random images. I'm exactly using this logic. Random 1, random 2, and random 3. Let's review our code. This is our index.html file. This is the entry point of our Vue application. I'm using Bootstrap, font awesome. Here is our custom style sheet. The name of the application, storyvote app. This is the image of the text, image of this cat. I'm using the Bootstrap card component. Here you can see that I have displayed the image. This is the title, and this is the text, and this is the date time when the user has published. And this is our voting feature, like vote number. We have three components, three cards component. Inside the three cards we have this one. We displayed the basic card. Cool. So this is our static HTML file. I will show you how to render the dynamic content here. So here we have JavaScript files. This is the first file, storyseed.js, and the main.js. I will use VueJs code inside the main.js. Let's review our storyseed.js. What is here inside the storyseed? Window.feed. Let's make it capital. Basically, I have just created the array of stories. The first record, ID, title, text, votes, posted at, and the story image. There is our second record and the third record. And finally, I'm returning the stories. You can notice that I'm using the immediately invoked function, which is iffy. Whenever you load this file, this function will be called automatically, and you can access the stories anywhere. So now when I show you, if you will access the feed.stories, you will get the results. Let me show you. I'm going to inspect the console. Now you can see that we have an array. We have three objects. Now I want to bind the object here. Let's talk about the data binding. So how can you do it? First of all, I need to have a view. I did not add view here. So I'm going to use the CDN to add the view. If you go to this one, unpackage.com/view, you can add that. Let's find it, unpackage.com/view. Now you can see that it is giving us the VueJs. So we need to add it. In the later modules, I'll show you how to add view by using the Vue CLI. For now, I'm going to use this one because first of all, we will practice the fundamentals of the view. Unpackage. I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to paste it here. Let's create a new script. Add the VueJs. Cool. That's it. We don't need to do any fancy stuff to add VueJs. Now I'm going to create a new instance of the view. You can access the Vue global class because I have added the view here. This one. This library, this JS provides a Vue instance. You can use that. I'm going to create a new instance. You can also provide the options. The first one is we need to provide the element. Here we are telling to VueJs, please use the VueJs code inside this div or inside this ID app. Inside the ID app, let's say I don't have any ID with div. You can choose any HTML elements. For I'm gonna use the ID. Here I'm telling to Vue. Basically, I'm educating or teaching to Vue. You have to use the VueJs code here. Here you have to, hey Vue, please do your magic here inside this div. So we have added the ID. Now what I need to do, make sure you have installed the VueJS dev tools. I have already enabled on my Chrome browser. You have to install it if you don't have. I will use this for debugging purpose. Now I'm gonna refresh my browser. One thing I also want to show you, I don't want to refresh manually. You have to install a fantastic plugin in VS Code, Live Server. Let me enable it. I have already installed it. If you don't have one, you have to install the Live Server. Where is the Live Server? Please give me the option of Live Server. Aha. Now I'm gonna click on this one, go live. Please try to change. Oops, I think my project is already running on this port. So let me close this project first. Now we need to start it again. Awesome. App is running on this one, 5500 port. This is our voting data binding app. Cool. Now I don't need to refresh it manually. Let me show you the magic of Live Server. If you change anything, it will automatically reload the application. You will see this one, story app. So what is the main purpose? We have added the element. If you inspect it, let me show you the view tool. You will see the root component. You can see that this is our root component. This complete is a root component. You can also provide the data here. Let's provide the data. We need to provide stories. I can fetch the stories from feed.stories. Now you can see the data here. You can see that I got the stories. Vue instance can also return the data. Whatever you add inside the data property, you can access it here. Like now I'm able to access the data here inside this div. Inside the data property, basically I'm gonna access the stories here inside this div. We have created the stories array. Let me access it here. First of all, I need to bind the image. How can I do it? Okay, let me show you. Let's say stories dot, what is the name of this property? You can check that, story image. Oops, it's not working. If you're using the HTML attribute binding, you don't need to do in this way. So you have to follow the vbind pattern and the source. The name of the image, I can get the first element. I need to get the image from the first story image. Let's say story image. Now you can see that it has successfully loaded the image. If you have to use the attribute binding, you have to use the vbind and the name of the source. If you have to bind the HTML text, you have to use the two curly braces. Stories 0 dot the title. We have a title here. Title. Now you will see the journey here. Cool. You can also add the link if you want to add. Let me show you how can you add the link. Anchor tag. I'm gonna wrap the title inside the anchor tag. I already told you, if you want to add the attribute binding, you will use the vbind and colon href. Stories I want to bind, let's say story.url. Do I have URL property? No, I don't have URL property. Let's add it. I'm gonna use this one hash. I don't have any URLs, so I'm gonna make it as a fake URL. Get rid of this one. Now you will see the URL here. Cool. So you have learned attribute binding and the HTML text binding. Here we need to bind our text property. Stories. I need to bind the text. Cool. Now you will see the text here. You can also bind this one. Stories.posted at. Stories. I want to fetch the first record. Posted at. Amazing. You will see the 3 minutes ago. If you change the property, you will see the different value. Let's say I'm gonna say to 33 minutes ago. You will see the 33 minutes ago. I also need to bind the words. So we need to bind it here. Stories. We need to fetch the first element, first record dot votes. We have a votes property here. Cool. You will see the 0 vote. So I have done it for the first card. Now it's your challenge. It's an exercise for you. You have to bind these properties: source, text, title, text, posted at, votes property. You have to do it for next 2 cards. I want you to do it, but this time you have to access the second element. You can use the one here. So go ahead and solve the challenge.